Hey everyone, Nick Engvall here. Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about some of the people that make the sneaker history community and this podcast possible. It's more important than ever to think about who you give your money to when you're buying clothing to go with your kicks. Our friends at Guilty Goods started their brand with a goal of giving back, especially to the communities that make sneaker culture possible. With every purchase from Guilty Goods, at least 10% of the proceeds are donated to organizations like Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the Movement for Black Lives, and many more. You can save 30% on your order by using the code HISTORY at guiltygoods.us. Again, that's history at guiltygoods.us for 30% off, and you can feel good about your purchase knowing you're supporting a meaningful cause. Sneakers are all about presentation, and if you're like me, displaying your kicks at home or in the office is just as important as when they're on your feet. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights, drop-side cases to showcase the entire side of the shoe, not just the heel or the toe, the whole shoe. They've also got display cases for trading card collectors and hat collectors. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save at least 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. If you're a Patreon supporter or a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of sneaker history and the podcast since the early days. He's currently the defending champion in our community trivia nights competition. Kicks with V hot sauce has been a huge hit with the community. You can save 10% on your order by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. Now, you're probably here because you like sneakers, and if you join the Discord, you know our community is about so much more than that. Whether it's the marathon-like community calls, trivia night debates, the in-person meetups, or just sharing our favorite experiences, we found that although we have such different backgrounds, we all have some unexpected shared passions. Not only does the entire community look out for each other when it comes to releases, we're like a support group for life in general. You can join the Discord community for free by heading to the show notes of this episode. After you're done listening to this episode, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Now let's get into today's episode.
Jordan trying to shake off Starks. Oh, what a James with no regard for human life. 12 seconds. Bryant for the win. Iverson against Gill. The crowd on its feet. Allen for the win.
Welcome to the Sneaker History Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sneaker History Podcast. I'm chilling here with my main man, Mr. 1000, quickly approaching on 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Mr. Mike, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. I'm trying not to look at it because it's daunting, but nah, man, I appreciate everybody. But it's a good day. Good day, man. How you doing?
I'm great. Anybody tuning in to this new 2022 episode that maybe had a resolution of supporting somebody, why don't you go hit up the Mike Guillory YouTube channel and become a subscriber. Help my man here get to number 1K.
Trying,
you gotta start. You gotta start somewhere. 1K is the first milestone. Then it's gonna start cascading down from there in a good way. Cascading up, but flowing.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
It's a good thing either way. We gotta break that 1,000 seal. We feel like we're on episode 1,000 total, but this is actually the second episode of technically season 2. So fun times. Longest first season ever.
Yeah. It's cool though. I enjoyed every moment of it.
It's like 24, the longest season.
Oh no, that was Law and Order. Like, what's the noise they do? Like we need to put the little clock on the corner.
Dun, dun. No, it's just a ticking clock. It's just
that's what it is. I was like, dun dun.
You were close though. That show's also been on forever.
Gosh.
We're gonna be on forever. We have a lot of good stuff to talk about. It's crazy to think about when you reminisce on the past, how much time really has gone by. We're 10 years away from probably one of the greatest sneaker moments, sneaker experiences, sneaker weekends of all time. So the main topic today is actually going to be centered around All-Star 2012, and we'll dive all the way into that in a moment here. But before we get there, Mike, what you been rocking? And is there anything you're looking to cop?
Oh, been rocking these bad boys right here. Like, look at that. These beatniks, I know they sent them to you and I for Christmas, and I haven't taken them off my feet. It's like a little sleeping bag for my feet when I go outside to do things without having to put a real shoe on. So these have not even seen the inside of the box since I've gotten them. What I am copping, I just bought my son a pair of those like super electric green Ultra Boost. I had a discount code, so I'm kind of for pretty dirt cheap. But I'm looking at that LeBron 9 South Coast. I'm a big LeBron 9 fan. I'm not super happy about the spongy like neoprene on the outside, but I'm willing to give it a shot because you know how hard it is to get these retros sometimes. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's a pretty interesting color.
I think you'll have a little bit of an easier time getting your hands on those over the Watch the Thrones.
I don't want to talk about that one. I'm still
it's gonna be
upset
interesting though. It's a very cool look, kind of South Beachy, kind of not.
Yeah.
I like seeing new colors of retros, so I'm all the way with it.
Yeah.
Personally, I've been rocking the old Mr. Charles Barkley CB 94 Air Max. I took these for a test walk. I've only worn them once before today, and I plan on bringing them out. Going to Denver this weekend for the Laker Nugget game. Oh. So I'm going to be weird. I'm going to wear Barkley's with the LeBron jersey, but it's the Lakers away, so I can wear like the purple jersey with a little bit of purple on here. It's going to work okay.
Nice.
But I'm on this new thing where I only bring one pair of shoes on short vacations, like less than 3 to 4 days. I only bring one pair.
Good man.
That's going to be my one pair I bring. Committed all the way in. Very excited about that.
What you cop?
The shoe I'm looking to cop is actually one I wore yesterday. Not this particular color, but it's a Jordan 5. I'm looking to buy the Racer Blue, man. Racer Blue, Sport Blue, Royal Blue, Old Royal Blue, Old Bay seasoning. I like it all. I like the Royals with black. I like it a lot personally, especially as they continue to flip older like OG retros with just a little tweak. This is just like a metallic 5, but blue instead of silver and no speckle. But I'm completely about it. I love that color blocking. I love that look. 5s are great for the winter, kind of springtime. I'm very interested in that shoe. So February 22nd, I believe. With the way things go around with COVID now, might be February, might be March, might be April. Who knows?
Might be December.
But we'll keep you posted on that. Yeah, right. Might be December. Mildly frustrating, but we will survive. Shoes keep coming out. So if the shoe you want this weekend is pushed back to next weekend, guess what? You will live.
You got another week to save money. Think of it that way. Like you got another week to stack a couple dollars.
Another week before you blow it. Another week wiser, another year wiser. I say that because our Sneaker History Discord family came up with a great idea to actually do a Discord question of the week. It was our great listener, Joe, who's a longtime supporter, Patreon member. Shout out to Joe. Very, very great listener. He brought this idea up, and I thought it was really, really smart. So I actually got his question, and our main admin, our main supporter, our numero dos in terms of second command to sneaker history, Mr. Greg got one of his questions too. So let's go ahead and start with Gregatron's. He has 2 questions. One of them's funnier. I'm going to wait for the whole group to be here. This one though, serious question, I guess, if you will, but not too serious. Don't take it too serious. With the untimely passing of Virgil and the unfortunate events of Astroworld, it feels unlikely to see any Off-White or Cactus Jack collabs from Nike in 2022. Who do you think will take over the mantle for the swoosh, like, you know, the hype mantle of this for the swoosh this year, as far as collabs? And Mike, do you have anybody in mind? I'll let you go first. Anything
my initial thought, we may be on the same page in this, but I'm assuming it's going to be Chris Gibbs and the fine people at Union, I think, are going to take over. I feel like they're pushing them hard the last few months, and we have a dunk coming out. We have something else coming out from them. I think of Jordan 2. So I think Union is going to be the one to take over the mantle for 2022. At least that's what I see.
Very, very astute observation, my friend. I'm going to go with Mr. J Balvin. I think the 2 is just one of many releases from him this year. Think about how Travis started his journey with Jordan, Nike. Slow releases at a time. We've had the J Balvin 1. Now we're at the 2. The 2 is going to be the first Jordan to have, like, you know,
LEDs.
full on, like, LED electric. I'm interested in it. It's going to be wild, but he's wild. That's what I think. Or I think it could really be a chance for maybe somebody completely brand new that we don't even know of. It's only January. I like to think something contestant X. We don't know who they are, but I'm gonna be excited for whoever it is. But I think it's a good observation that they're probably going to stay away from Virgil for a little bit, if not indefinitely, and then until all the Astro World stuff gets figured out, they're probably going to stay away from Travis also. So
yeah, we know who's not going to be. It's not going to be Drake, because those things are just K-Swiss. Those hot steppers are K-Swiss ripoffs that I had back in like elementary schools. I know that shoe. You can't fool me, Drake.
You can't fool us. But it's funny, and it's great that you bring up Drake, because neither one of us said him, and probably monetarily the biggest artist in the world, and has been for like
10 years.
You don't break Beatles records very often as an artist or entertainer. So Drake's massive, man. It's interesting neither one of us said him. If you're a listener, do you think Drake's going to be? Is there Drake stuff coming up that we don't know about?
Yeah.
Go ahead, drop us a comment, like, subscribe, all that good
Hit
stuff.
them buttons.
But we'll have to see. Hit them buttons. And this next one is also kind of around collaborations and who you think could fill a spot or fill a role. It's from Jay Wolfer. We have, do you think And1 and the shoe company, I think it means And1 the shoe company, could make a comeback? Who would be what boutique or influencers would you like to see, with And1? So do I think And1 can make a comeback? Short answer is I think they are omnipresent, but they're never going to be anything. That ship has done sailed. The same way Avia was like really big in the NBA in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
That ship has sailed. Like
he's like, can't come back.
Lasted.
Yeah,
it's not coming back.
I mean, I think they can do some cool little things, like you said, just little. They're going to sprinkle them in. They're not going to be the thing that changes the world, but let's say something like a slam jam Tai Chi. Cool. Like you break out. I know there's a lot of street ball, and they would do some tournaments here in Houston. So, oh my God, premium goods, Tai Chi, things like that where they actually have some basketball culture, I think it'd be cool. I would try to, pick one up. I'm not going to break my neck to do it, but if it was cool, it was available, why not? I think people who were part of that culture, probably us and people older than that who remember these moments would like it. But again, it's not going to be, they're the next big thing. It's just, I think their time is past, but I think they're they can play the nostalgia card very well if they did it right.
The nostalgia card is a very important card to bring up in the shoe deck, because like Fila still has success releasing Grant Hill stuff,
mm-hmm.
right? I think And1, like Fila, has one of the top 50 most iconic basketball sneaker designs of all time in the Tai Chi. They're always going to be able to have some kind of limited release of that shoe. I think where And1 does even better than Fila is with the pricing. Like And1 knows it's an And1. Like Fila, I think in the Discord someone was saying like the Grant Hill collab was like close to $200 for a Grant Hill shoe. It's like, man, that's $100 shoe. Even at $150, you're like really barking up the wrong tree.
$89.99.
So I feel like Fila can kind of take that L. Like they stumbled, so like And1 can run past them at some point. But I mean, even Kevin Garnett is a part of that heritage too. People don't think about that, but if he ever wanted to be a part of the brand, think about how like Shaq comes around to Reebok every now and again, and Grant Hill with Fila. They've had the big players at the right time. Just the ship's not coming back, but you can still make a pretty little ship in a bottle.
Yeah.
Right.
Reminisce on that bad boy. Yeah. I remember this ship. I was on that bad boy.
A little memento. I mean, they are what they are, man. I have a pair of Tai Chis in the back, and I never put them on. I never wear them. I wore them to play basketball ceremoniously one time. So I'm going to go play at the park with these on. They were awful. If
the No Face t-shirts come back, the Trash Talk t-shirts, I'm going to be more about that than a shoe. Even though I love the Tai Chi, one of my favorite shoes growing up, but it's the Trash Talk tees. They're just, again, synonymous with like the beginnings of real like streetwear and like mixing sport and fashion in my eyes. So bring them back. I'll buy them.
I'm curious if you get a pass wearing an and one shirt in like Adidas or an and one shirt in Reebok or an and one shirt in
Kind of
Nike.
have to, right? Like, I feel like you do.
I think that's a shirt you wear sandals with.
Just, no shoes. Just get it.
Keep it very neutral. I mean, I'm happy you said no shoes and put your hands up really quick because
Wait, hold up. I'm using my Zach Morris powers here to call a timeout and tell you about a couple of our partners. These are some of the folks that help us keep the podcast going, and they have some exclusive discounts just for our listeners. Now, if you're already subscribed to our YouTube channel, you know how I love to display my kicks when I'm not rocking them. Sneaker Throne makes sneaker display cases featuring customizable LED lights and drop side cases to showcase the entire side of your shoe, not just the heel or the toe. To me, it's the perfect way to display your collection. You can save 10% on your Sneaker Throne order by using the code HISTORY at sneakerthrone.com. That's history at sneakerthrone.com. Now, if you're a Patreon supporter and a member of our Discord community, you already know about Kicks with V hot sauce and his small batch, locally sourced hot sauce. V has been one of the biggest supporters of Sneaker History and the podcast since the early days, and his hot sauce has been a huge hit within the community. To celebrate the launch of his new coffee habanero flavor hot sauce, and my personal favorite, his new habanero honey, he's given an exclusive discount to our podcast listeners. You can save 10% by using the code SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. That's SneakerHistory10 at kickswithvhots.com. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast or becoming a partner with our community, get in touch with us. You can reach us by email at podcast@sneakerhistory.com. Or better yet, tell some of your favorite brands they should be sponsoring the podcast. All right, let's get back into today's episode.
Popular news story. We're really not going to make this about politics or even the news, really, but interesting. Especially for here in Oregon, I think it's on par, not in a bad way in my eyes, but I'm speaking too long about this. Nike's going like bye-bye to employees who will not get vaccinated. They are laying people off, and Mike also shared earlier with me that Vans is doing a similar thing, and some other brands. The parent company who owns Vans and other brands is doing the same thing, which, I mean, man, it's 2022. I mean, get the shot or get out, according to these employers.
Yo, the letter was raw. Did you see that letter? Oh, you didn't get vaccinated? You out of here on the 15th, bro. I'm like, oh god.
I mean, it's a right to work. It's a right to employ, and it's crazy. I mean, I got vaccinated as soon as I can, so
same. I feel. I can't tell nobody what to do, but at the same time, I mean, the company has their right to want to provide a certain kind of environment for people. So it's their prerogative to make that rule. And it's crazy that they all started coming out at the same time. That was because when I sent you the first thing, literally I looked back on my phone, the next one came out in the same fashion. Like, wow, they're dead serious about this because I think again, we're not going to go down to politics. I don't think they want to have to deal with the testing of people all the time because that's the rule with the people over 100 employees.
Costs money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money down the drain, and those tests aren't easy to find right now. So, this is just like, now we're going to move past this.
Get with it or get out. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord spit you, right?
That's a good one. There you go.
I believe is
that's the proper saying.
So, I mean, speaking of good Lord spitting, that motherfucker was spitting in 2012. Let me tell you. Mix a little Hank Hill in there too. I tell you what, 2012 was a good vintage for basketball, man. Even just the roster that we'll 100% get into the shoes. I think that's a given, right? Like, duh, we're gonna get into the shoes. But like, what when you go back and watch, I recommend you go catch a little highlight reel after watching this video or after listening to this video or this episode of the Sneaker History podcast, and it's like, marvel in who was at that game playing. Like, here you go. Kevin Durant, Kobe Bryant, Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, Andrew Bynum, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, Dirk Nowitzki, Marc Gasol, Tony Parker, LaMarcus Aldridge, Steve Nash. And then on the East, you have Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, Derrick Rose, Chris Bosh, Darren Williams, Rajon Rondo, Andre Iguodala, Paul Pierce, Roy Hibbert, and Luol Deng. Now, the Roy Hibberts of the world maybe should not have been there, but 2012 was 10 years ago. Basketball was different. The East was lighter. But just think about each of those players I just named in 2012. They were all pre-injuries, respectively, pre-injury, healthy. I mean, healthy late Kevin Durant, healthy Kobe, healthy Blake Griffin, healthy Chris Paul, young Russell Westbrook. Having watched that game, Russell Westbrook with the most ridiculous in-dunk games. LaMarcus in his prime, Tony Parker towards the end, but still obviously in his prime. D-Wade in his prime. LeBron, Dwight Howard, Carmelo, Derrick Rose, Chris Bosh, Darren Williams. There's so many good people. Like, wow. Maybe it's because we grew up in that time. It's so wow. But does anybody in that group in 2012 make Mike's brain go wow?
I mean, the whole crew. I mean, still seeing D Rose as a all-star starter. I mean, it's one of my favorite players ever. I mean, and it still goes back to that. It was still the East versus West, knowing dang well, no matter what LeBron James did on the East, the West was still going to kill him at the end. It was just a prime time in both sneakers and basketball. Everything just kind of meshed together, and it's crazy. We're talking about Dwight Howard as an all-star, and now he's, eighth man on the Lakers.
It's crazy you say that because Dwight was getting so much camera love in that game. Camera could not get enough Dwight Howard. They couldn't get enough Russell Westbrook. Like, man, before you turn on these two men,
remember the good times you had with them first.
Remember the good times. Blake Griffin was the craziest dunk. I mean, Blake Griffin was trying to win MVP of that game. He was trying very hard. Was that
Kia dunk contest?
That was the year. That was the year before. So that was like the Welcome to Blake Griffin show. And then the following year, 2012, I think they had to go look at the All-Star Game dunk contest in 2012, and it included one Paul George. And I forgot who the winner was, but
really?
Nobody cool. Yeah, Paul George participated though. But all these great young players, all be it young, but is healthy and first or second All-Star bids, and it's so cool to see. That's all fine and dandy, right? But let me just loop this back around to sneakers, and I'm going to pass it to you with your thoughts on the shoe. We got the tip of Mount Everest of sneakers in terms of the Galaxy Foamposite.
Yeah.
So, like, what is the Galaxy Foamposite, Mike? And what does the Galaxy Foamposite mean to you, or what does the Galaxy Foamposite mean to sneakers?
To sneakers, it was the next chapter of madness. I think the Foamposite really, after a lull, I guess you want to call it a lull in sneakers, the Foamposite really brought that energy back. That was right after the Concords that released the previous December. So usually after that time, it's like, okay, whatever. But it literally Nike went bang, 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 bang. Like, they just came out firing. And what it means to me is my first, like, L that really kind of hurt, because, it sounds silly, but
first heartbreak
in sneakers, because I remember, like, oh my God, like, just got out of college. I just, kind of got a little change in my pocket. I'm like, oh, okay, I got $200 for these. I got you. Click, sold out. I'm like, then it's all the stories of, like, someone selling their car to trade them for Foamposites or whatever it was, the riots. I'm like, wow, this is just when you knew things were just trending downward in human behavior, but upward in popularity of sneakers.
The culture is starting to erode, but its popularity is rising. Man, I mean, you're just so right, though. The Galaxy Foamposite, Rajon Rondo wore it in game like a fucking gangster. Feel how you will about Rajon Rondo. Man wore Galaxy Foams in game. Like, nobody else.
Right there.
And it's the most important shoe of the weekend, I'd put the Galaxy Foamposite right up there with the Pigeon Dunk and the Tiffany Dunk. Mm-hmm. Funny how they're all dunks. They are Jordan 1, right? The Bread Jordan 1. Like, the Galaxy Foamposite is like the modern Michelangelo of basketball shoes, of sneakers, really, in terms of, like, collecting and, like, the network of people who like it. Call it a community if you want, whatever. Just Rajon Rondo was the dude to pull that trigger. Much like Mike Bibby's the dude to pull the trigger. And Mike Bibby's great, don't get me wrong. But Mike Bibby is the Foamposite guy, like the OG Foamposite guy. And here we have Rajon Rondo, which he did have some sick plays in game. He had some really nice, like,
the
did
fake,
some Rajon Rondo shit.
Yeah.
He did some classic Rondo shit, and it was awesome. But, I'm going to loop back around to basketball from the Nike perspective here in a moment. But just, like, it's funny. Nike dominates so much of the market share, but Adidas is always in the game. So, like you said, you have prime, like peak popularity Dwight Howard and the Adi Power 2, his signature shoe.
Yep.
And then you had Derrick Rose on Turbo Pogo sticks and his Adi Rose 2.5.
It was 2.5.
Two signature shoes. I mean, obviously Derrick Rose did way better than Dwight's did. Dwight just being a big man, but just like two of the biggest players in that game in terms of like in that bubble at that time in 2011, 2012, like those dudes were it. Those were MVP. I think Derrick Rose did win MVP that year. Like those are your MVP candidates that year. Like, and Adidas had both of them.
Right. Yeah. No, it's nice to look at those other things too, because at the time Nike really did take over, because some of the athletes we mentioned, like I said, Tony Parker, Rondo, who else we got? Brain is failing me right now, but those people who actually eventually left to things like Peak and Anta, Dwight Howard, people who eventually left, they were still under the Nike umbrella. So everyone was wearing Nikes, and you only had a couple Adidas sprinkled in there. I don't remember anything else besides the Howards and, the D Roses as another brand out there. But because like Nike was in their, metaphorical bag when it came to marketing, because it was in Orlando, which means space, everything. So we started out with the Foamposite. Then we go down to, signature, Nike signature. It was all just a moment, like the cohesiveness of everything going on. I don't want to say the best storytelling, but the best marketing I had ever seen, because those models, even though I had like connections from like when I worked at Champs before, I couldn't get a single one of them. And it was just mind-boggling. I mean, with LeBron's, I know we'll get to, they're supposed to be retroing this year in 2022, which is nice for the 10-year. I would love for the KDs to come back, and I would love, the Bryant estate to come to some kind of terms, at least for this one, the 7 to come. But I mean, it's just a moment, because those are timeless sneakers. I feel like those were things we look back again another 10 years from now and say, man, you remember that? Do you remember when this happened? Or, this All-Star game? And I feel like we're not getting that same love put into the sneakers when they're creating them now that they did then.
Very interesting point. I looked it up while you were talking. Kevin Love is the only player in a not Nike or Adidas shoe, and he's wearing the 361 degrees.
Oh, back then?
It's interesting. Yeah, he's wearing a signature shoe.
Wow.
361. He's the only player now, past couple of years, not just now. Many brands represent players in All-Star games, and now, literally just Kevin Love. And this is good Kevin Love. This is like 30 and 20 Kevin Love, 30 and 15 Kevin Love. This is like before LeBron James like neutered him.
Like Kimmy had a Minnesota Kevin Love. That's what that was.
Yeah, man. It was in his bag, Kevin Love. So I mean, you bring up Kobe estate and Kobe 7 maybe coming back. A lot of word. You brought up the LeBron 9 earlier in your Rockin. In your Rockin and Coppin. That Big Bang's coming back this year. Just like period. Like we're gonna have the Big Bang, and I think that's great to have that retro 10 years from now. Nike taking advantage of like a real milestone with like a LeBron, because they've treated MJ very nicely with like his milestones and like 25th anniversaries. 10. Whatever anniversary you could put to MJ, they do very nicely. So I think LeBron getting that same treatment is deserved and should be happening. So the Big Bang later this year, wouldn't be surprised if it dropped during All-Star Weekend, which is just like a month away from now. Yep. So crazy that's only a month away. But one step further to that, I would love to see the like resale world kind of fall apart and just bring back the Galaxy foams like retro. So there's all the Encore stuff, but then there's a Flight 1 Galaxy, the Penny Hardaway shoe. We'll talk more about Penny in an upcoming episode. There's a series of Dunks in that set. Dunks are still popular. You can retro any of those, and they're cool.
The foam rookies.
There's a lot of angles. Foam rookies. I believe the foam rookie was the Galaxy rookie was the next year. No, it was the same year.
They did it twice. So they did the Galaxy, then they did the Big Bang 2.0 like a year later whenever he went to Area
72 was the next one. I think the The Zoom Rookie though came out the following year.
Okay.
We'll have to check that one.
Yeah,
but no, you have the right point of view though. It's like bring shoes like that back. We're seeing retros of like basketball shoes from the 90s like no one's ever asked for. I'm sorry. I mean, like, no one's asking for these old flight shoes. I think somebody is like an old man's yelling at the sky, like, give me these old flights. But take a poll. There's people who would be like, yes, I will take Galaxy phone. Like who would actively just say, yes, here, charge 300, charge. I mean, don't do this, but do what you did with Comme des Garçons and charge 500. Yo, listen though, if you got $500 for a brand new Galaxy foam or $1,200 to $1,500 for a 10-year-old pair that's yellowing, I'm gonna pay. You can get $500 for me with the swiftness.
I mean, you can, but I'll be real. Like, I'm gonna be upset. By the way, I saw a Comme des Garçons foam sitting on a website, both colors in our size. I'm like, why did I think about it for a second? Like, I know I wasn't gonna buy it, but I thought about it for a minute. Like, why?
Send me that website link. I'm curious.
I gotta go find it again.
I'm curious about the white pair, but like. No, that's where you can really start testing the waters of what people will pay from, because I mean that's the earliest part of resale. Probably started resale culture. Yeah, the Galaxy Foamposite. So like,
the idiot with the car.
To have it come full circle like that, and it's like, all right, we know people want this shoe. We know a Nike, R&D person can just go and look at StockX. See, all right, people are paying this much money for this shoe.
I mean, that's what they did with LeBron.
No one's putting a gun to their head.
Think about the LeBrons. They were 180 back in 2012. They're charging 230 now. I'm like, bro, like you put a $50
that's
markup.
Part inflation. Yeah, that's part markup, part inflation. That's like a little step though. Like the Comme des Garçons like a full leap.
Oh, that was just like, let's jump off the mountain with this sucker. Like,
I think you could jump off the mountain with a Galaxy Foamposite, and I would be like, damn, I got to pay that much, but okay.
Here's the card.
Yeah, right. First word is damn. Second word is okay. Consent.
You got me. What am I going to do?
Worry that consent.
I mean, I'd be right there with you. Sadly,
I'm consent with so much of these shoes. I mean, so we'll end on like not end, but like we'll get to Kobe, LeBron, and KD. Really like the stars of that pack outside of the Galaxy phone, but just like there's so many good shoes that released that did not release. Yeah, that is like Nike was just firing on such a level that like they just stopped doing all-star collections because like we can't even top this shit we did.
We give up. We beat ourselves.
We did it too good that one time. And there was other good ones. Brooklyn was good.
New Orleans was good.
The Gumbo League. Yeah, there was definitely. There's been successful all-star drops since 2012, but like the all-stars of all-stars. So it's like what I'm getting to is there's hyper enforcers, there's hyper dunks, there's Air Max hyper dunks, there's Air Jordan 2012s. There's the Mellow stuff wasn't quite Galaxy themed, but it's still pretty cool. Yeah, Paul Pierce's shitty ass Legacy line getting a Galaxy treatment. What is the hyper enforcer? I think I already said that.
Yeah.
But just like. Oh! I got this one too. I got to find it again. It was Steve Nash was wearing it. I think it was the Bounce 5. No, he's wearing the Hyperdunk Low. Tony Parker, the Brave 5.
Brave was the one, yeah.
The Brave 5. I believe that's a Jason Petrie design too. But it's like across the board, different highs and lows of Hyperdunks. Different prints of Galaxy on various Hyperdunks. Like there's just so many Hyperdunk Galaxy samples existing in the universe, in the galaxy. Like, damn, there's so much stuff that didn't release that says like all could drop now 10 years later. And I'd buy it.
We got to talk about there has to be a moment for Blake Griffin's Hyperdunk 2011. I think it was the premium with the galaxy print. I think they dropped in a very small quantity somewhere. I don't know. I think it might have been like when House of Hoops was still like very sporadic. Cause I remember seeing like retail pairs of it like online. But it's very minimal quantity. But don't sleep on Blake Griffin's Galaxy Hyperdunk.
They make their rounds.
My God, that shoe, if I take all of the other things, and I can put them right next to, I can put Blake Griffin's Galaxy Hyperdunk right next to the big three. That was such a beautiful shoe. The print, just everything just went perfect. And it gets slept on because it wasn't something in alignment, because it wasn't mass produced, of course, which makes it hard for anyone to get it. But just being able to appreciate it from just the visual perspective of it. Blake Griffin has some hyper dunks, man. Like, why do you have to have some hyper dunks?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. I sold my my dunk contest Blake Griffins. They were 11 and a half, and I was playing myself, squeezing my dogs.
The orange
there.
ones?
Yeah, sold them for like $100 too. Anywho, so yeah, he had like the hyper dunk from the All-Star Game dunk contest I was just alluding to. But there is the pair you're talking about, the BG32 Galaxy, very pretty moon print, a couple grand in my size, insane. But there's also, I've seen them in Index. There's a red Galaxy hyper dunk of Blake Griffin that did not release. Blake Griffin was the shit at that point. I mean, he hurt himself his rookie year, so he was like a super rookie, a
red-shirted rookie.
Yeah, a red-shirted rookie. And then his first year back, his first real year, he was in that dunk contest, got on the map. And then also, he was really, I think maybe I was saying this before we started recording, maybe it's at the beginning, but he was trying to win that All-Star Game. Like, he was dunking.
Oh, he wanted it. Yeah, he wanted the MVP.
With anger. But, I mean, that just shows how many people would say, like, sober, yes, I will take an old Hyperdunk retro, or like, yes, I will happily take a Zoom Brave, or yes, I'll take, a Hyper Rev. It's just like, I mean, that was a couple years later, the Galaxy Hyper Rev, but a Hyper Enforcer. Yeah. It's just like, because Russell Westbrook had two different PEs, one for the Shooting Stars Challenge, the Skills Challenge, and then one for the actual game, and they're both fire. And it's just like, how many times, Nike, do you have an opportunity to like sell a Hyper Enforcer for people excited for a Hyper Enforcer?
There's like 5 of us. Like,
yeah, there's 5, but like
5 of us who want that shit.
You can corner all 5 of us, like Cap and Captain America First Avengers. I can do this all day. He's getting his ass kicked. It's like, you can put all his 5 people who want these Galaxy shoes in a corner and just like get all of our money.
Here, take
get
it
all
all.
of our lunch money.
Just take it all.
At the same time. But it's just like, those aren't even your big guns. So like Jordan Brand had D Wade. He rocked the flyweight too to kind of show that off a little bit in the second half, but you had him in the 2012s. In the beginning part of the game, you had Chris Paul, I believe in his third signature shoe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to find it, but
3 or 4, I can't remember. But you're right on there. You're right around.
It 100% is not the 4 though, because I know for a fact it's not the Quattro. I had the Quattro. I'm going to refer to it as the Quattro. Man, they really don't want to show me on this list.
You get nothing.
Chris Paul shoes, but okay. So you had Melo. And I believe it was the M8. Man, this list is really just not doing it for me right now. But no, so basically what I'm getting to is Melo signature, Chris Paul signature, D Wade signature. Like, that's an incredible power. That's an incredibly powerful. It was the Melo M8. God damn it, I'm a crackhead. I knew what Melo. So how many people know what Melo was? It was the Melo M8, and I was very wrong about the Chris Paul.
Whoa, it was
Chris
the
Paul
5. Yeah, I just found a list on Bleacher Report.
Once I said Chris Paul 2, I'm like, oh, that's like the Mardi Gras one. Like, I'm completely off on that. But yeah, Chris Paul 5, Chris Paul 6, 4, 5, and 6 were all pretty damn good shoes.
Yeah.
But Flyweight 2s, Chris Paul's, and fucking Melos. Like, what does Jordan Brand have right now? Jordan has Chris Paul, it has Russell Westbrook, and it has Zion. I would take D Wade, Chris Paul, younger Chris Paul for that, and Melo over that 3 any day. Like, dang, Jordan Brand was killing it at that point.
No, they were really doing something, man. Like, now they're just like, we don't want to release any Chris Paul shoes. They're just for him. Melo, you wear the 30, whatever, fill in the blank. And Zion, will you ever play basketball again?
Right. I mean, Melo's very lucky to have such a presence from his illustrious career. Like, the name Carmelo Anthony is beckons respect in my book.
Yep.
So like, they'll make him a retro. Melo could say, call Jordan Brand, like, hey man, make me an M8. I'm feeling nostalgic. Make me a retro of an M8 and some Lakers colors. All right, got you, dog. And like, he could rock whatever the hell he wants to. But like the M8, the M9, the M10, M11, like, I had a couple of those Melos, and I wish I still did.
Same,
obviously,
dude.
I don't, but not bad basketball shoes, man. I mean, like, the M8 over the Zion 1 any day. Just from a looks tech perspective, like, the Melo gives me like a vibe of like a serious performance shoe. Not that the Zion doesn't, but I just get more from Melo.
Well, any of those shoes back then, I think, were great performers. I mean, of course, you had the Kobe 7, which that weird vinyl material kind of just felt weird on your foot, but I mean, clearly you could wear it. People still wear it to this day. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but everything on the court was a performer, man. Like, everything out there was not just out there to say, oh, yeah, we have a new basketball shoe. Everyone out there, like, those shoes you can get buckets in. And I love it, man. Like, I hope we're getting back to that time of real performance basketball as opposed to here's your flagship and here's your $80 model. And that one sucks. Yeah. So I hope we get to
that is kind of where we're at. And, like, you've got to go a half size to a full size up on that Kobe 7.
Yep.
But I mean, that shoe has not protroed, and people in the NBA are wearing it like as we record. Like right now, there's an NBA player. Shout out to Gary Payton Jr. The little glove. He's probably wearing a pair of Kobe 7s right now. Baby glove, little glove. The glove does not fit. Whatever you want to call it.
He must have quit.
But there's just to your point, all these great shoes translate well off court, but they're all serious performance shoes. Like, yes, I will wear Andre Iguodala's Hyper Enforcer. Like, and on top of that, it's wild to think about 2012, just 4 years later, I guess even 2 years earlier than that, he starts winning championships with the Warriors, but like Philly Andre Iguodala, and even in that game was getting dunks off in game amongst all these other Hall of Famers. I think Andre Iguodala is a Hall of Famer first and foremost.
Yeah, he's garnered that right. I feel like he'll make it.
Made a few All-Star games, Finals MVP, but just like
give him a jacket.
Do yourself a favor and just look up Andre Iguodala in-game dunks, because dunk contests are great, but like him in game it's filthy. He's one of the best all-time dunkers, in-game dunkers of all time. You brought up Kobe. You had the LeBron 9 Big Bang, said we're probably gonna get that retro this year. And then we have the KD4 Galaxy. It's kind of like trying to pick if you had triplets, and it's like, all right, you got to put 2 of these kids down.
Why?
Which one are you keeping? 2 of these kids got to go.
That's the worst example ever.
Yeah, I had triplets. You got to put 2 of these kids down.
I'm picking them all up
it's
and running.
It's tough because you can't do it. You can't.
I'm picking them all up and running. We're gonna see how far I can get.
Picking them all up.
We're running. Just
I want to save the KD4, but the KD4 is gone first. The KD4 that take him because it's too narrow. The KD4 just doesn't fit, and I don't like wearing a 13 in the KD4 because my foot looks like Katie's foot in a 13. It's so long. It looks like I'm on skis. KD4, I love you, but that's the easy one. Like maybe a kill, marry, fuck. Like I'm killing Katie. That one's gone. First and foremost,
out the game, bro.
Then it's like, all right, okay, who am I marrying? It's like, okay, I want to say I probably, and they all run small. That's the funny thing about this. The 9 and the 7 run small. Bro. In the appropriate size, I'm probably marrying the Kobe 7, and I'm fucking the LeBron 9. Because like the LeBron 9 it's fun. It has that, they all have the glow in the dark, but it's bright orange and it's a high top. That tongue is really aggressive. The visible Air Max heel. It's fantastic, right? It's just like it's hot, it's sexy. I love it. But like I don't know about every day. The Galaxy 7,
you can wear it every day.
You can wear the Galaxy 7 every day.
Bruh, put it like this. When I get my hands on those Big Bangs, I'm calling in every favor, every Discord member who doesn't want them. I'm calling every moment, every favor for it, and I will wear them all day with every pair of pants I own. Slacks, jeans, shorts, boxers, whatever. I'm wearing them.
Wearing them all. Which pair are you marrying, and taking home with you?
Take home with me.
Take me home tonight.
I gotta marry the Big Bang 9, dude. I mean, that's right off the rip. Like that's a girl shoot for me. KD4 gotta go, and I guess I'd give the Kobeist moment. But I love that shoe too. Can I just have them all? Like, can I just move to Utah and have them all?
One of them will be gone in the morning. One of them's gone forever, and one of them won't leave.
Like KD4, go away. Go away. Don't need you.
KD4, just go.
I mean, you can stay on a shelf, but go away from my feet.
The Kobe 7, man.
Kobe 7 is a beautiful shoe. I mean, that was where they can do no wrong with any colorway of that particular sneaker. It just pinched you if you try to play basketball in them in the wrong size.
The Adidas stuff was nice. I'm not going to wear an Addy Power Howard.
Nah.
Addy Power Howard 2. God, say that.
I'm not 7'2". Why would I wear a Howard?
But the orangey red that also the D Rose 2.5 and the Addy Power Howard shared the same kind of reddish orange hue, and it looked great with the jersey. Kind of reminds me of like Liftoff, kind of like Inferno from the Gal. I mean, why am I? That's how strong the Nike stuff was. You would think Galaxy was like the whole thing.
Everyone in space.
Like, no, that was just Nike's thing. But I'm trying to throw space into the Adidas stuff, but they're not bad. Everything's good, man. There's not one. I think that's the one takeaway from this episode is like, go watch All-Star highlights from the 2012 game and tell me what shoe looks bad, because I'm going to call you a liar, because they all look good.
Slap you across the face if anyone says anything looks bad.
361. Kevin Love's shoe is ugly.
Okay,
like,
we don't account that one, because he left 361 to go to Nike after that, so he even knew it was bad, so we don't account that one.
That's the one mulligan.
Yeah, we just ignore that. Like, he didn't know what he was doing. He's in Minnesota. No one knows.
Nobody's paying attention out there. So that's probably one of the best All-Star games. And I think we should do this maybe once more before this year's All-Star game. Yeah. And maybe we'll dive deep into a 90s or something where we can get some MJ in there or something. But, we appreciate you tuning in. And we hope you like this deep dive back into the 2012 All-Star game. I'm Robbie. Make sure you're following at Sneaker History. Yes. On every platform. You can watch this episode you're listening to now on YouTube. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those good things.
Listen to it.
Just tune in, man. Tap in. Mike, where can they find you?
Of course, you can always find me here. I'm always here on Sneaker History, so make sure you do subscribe to that. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MadWatcher789. You can find me on YouTube at Mike Guillory. And this weekend, you can find me crawling on the ground after a half marathon and when my legs stop working. So tune into that.
Man, you want Mike to stop following you. Just show up the day after that marathon. And he will not be able to. Congratulations, though, on the job you're going to do. You're going to do great.
Well, I appreciate you, sir.
Listeners, thank you. See you next time. Have a good night.
Peace, everybody.
Hey, everyone. This is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify or Amazon Music. And make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more content coming for you in 2022. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in the Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is the connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions we have in common with other people within the community. We recently launched the first of a handful of new podcasts that will be coming directly from our Sneaker History community. We'll get into the details for those in a future episode, but I'm excited to share that the Exhaust Notes podcast is now live. This is a show about the world of cars, racing, and other automotive-related topics. If you're a fan of Formula One, Formula Drift, cars and coffee, or you're just a weirdo like me that enjoys the smell of gasoline, I think you'll enjoy this one. If you do, add Exhaust Notes to your subscribe list so you'll be updated when we drop future episodes. As always, thank you for supporting Sneaker History, and don't forget to tell someone you like their kicks today. Peace. Hey everyone, this is Nick again. Before you take off, do us a solid and head over to Apple Podcasts to leave us a review. Give us a rating on Spotify and Amazon Music, and make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel because we have even more video content coming soon. Speaking of new content, we have an amazing community of sneaker enthusiasts that hang out in our Sneaker History Discord on a daily basis. While sneakers is a connection point that brought us all together, we've all discovered countless shared passions that we have in common with each other. We recently launched a couple of new podcasts directly from our community. One of them is a Formula One podcast. If you're an F1 fan like me, the Exhaust Notes podcast is your weekly fix of Formula One fun. It's hosted by myself, Rohit Malhotra, and Todd Yates. New episodes drop every Tuesday. I've been wearing fitted hats for years and collecting my favorite teams since I was a little leaguer. It has been awesome to see so many new fans getting into fitteds in recent years. Crown and Stitch is our new talk show about fitted hats with Dexter, Keith, and myself, where we talk about fitted hats, snapbacks, throw in some obscure hats because we all kind of like some funky stuff once in a while, don't we? Copping, collecting, and so much more. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Hit the links in the show notes for this episode to give our new shows a listen, and be on the lookout for more new podcasts dropping soon. Last but not least, tell someone you like their kicks today. You never know how far a simple compliment can take you, and we all know how good it feels to have someone show their appreciation. Thank you all for the support, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.